on impairment. I'll just revise what we did. And this is how the examination is. Let us see HCL Limited as a public sector. HCL Limited as what? A public sector, but also it's a commercial public sector. As we said, we have commercial public sector and non-commercial public sector. The commercial public sector, in actual sense, they own assets which are cash generating, right? So what he's saying here, as it appears in our problem here, it says HCL Limited, a public sector in Tanzania, recently acquires a company called Fridge, meaning there is acquisition. After acquisition is goodwill on acquisition, right? So this is a small fishing and processing company. For how many? Acquisition was 2 million. The entity allocates the purchase consideration as follows. So we have goodwill of this amount, right? Again, we have fishing quota of this amount. You see? And then we have fishing boat of this amount. But he said this fishing boat is of equal value. Meaning one value is 500. You get the point? Another fishing equipment is 100. And then there's a fish processing plant, which is 200. The net asset is 600. Am I clear? Now, it's simple. We have to relax from the key issues. So, we have how many assets here? We have how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So, the goodwill is an asset. But corporate asset, you exclude the goodwill. Now, additional information. Can you sum this? Sum these numbers so far. Do you have a calculator? It's better so that we practice earlier. So you sum that number and see. Yes. Is it a 2 million?
Yes.
It's a 2 million. So he's saying the carrying amount of asset as at that date is 2 million. This is equal to what has been provided here. You see? Now let's move. Short after acquisition, one of the fishing boats sank in storm. Manake, between the two, one sank in the storm. You get the point? Now, if the fishing boat sank in storm, then you can't recover anything. Therefore, the whole amount would have gone to impairment.
Yeah.
That is one technical. So he's saying, and this has halved the fishing capacity. So the fishing capacity has remained into half. Right? Due to this reduction in capacity, the value of fishing business is, as a going concern, is estimated at what? What is 1.2? This is the value of a fishing boat. It is 1.2. You see tricks. Next, the fishing quota now represents a greater volume than one boat can fish. And it is not possible to replace the lost boat, as it was later odd and no equivalent boat are available. I repeat, the fishing quota now represents a greater volume than one boat it can fish. Okay. However, the fishing quota are much in demand and it could be sold at how many? Tanzanian shillings? 600. Now you have to think here. Those are technical issues to handle. Tanzanian shillings, 600. HCL Limited has offered how many? For the fish processing plant. The net current asset consists of account receivable and payable. You see now. So asset minus liability, those are the net asset. Now, compute impairment so far. Can you get something from there? Now, let me give you a very briefing here, and you will understand what I mean from demonstrating this procedure. First of all, we should be able to analyze this problem. So a boat is divided into boat 1 and boat 2. A value is this. So because of this being half, so this is 500 and this is 500. This is outward. So in my analysis, I have to make the following so far. Wait, I want to make it very clear. Yes, good. So let me put this asset as follows so that you understand it clearly. So we have the following assets so far from this table. So carrying amount. The first asset is goodwill. How about the second asset? Is boat 1. Because of first boat and second boat. So boat 1. Second asset, boat 2. Third asset is what? From the given information. We now think of fishing quota. So we have fishing quota. What is fishing quota? Fishing quota. Of course, these are some case technical names in fish processing. In the fishing industry, yes. Fishing quota, it has its meaning. Then we have equipment. So for fishing equipments. Fishing. Also, this is the technical equipments on fishing. Lastly, what's missing? We have a plant. So this plant is a processing plant to process the fish. Lastly, net asset, isn't it? This is how you can win this exam. And in the last exam, we had this problem. It was 10 marks problem. So concentrate on looking these steps. Okay. Now, what is the value of goodwill? It is 240. So carrying amount, goodwill is 240. 240. How about the plant? Boat 1, 500. Boat 2, 500. Now the fishing quota, it is of 400. So now understand, isn't it? How the fishing equipment? 100. You see. How about the fishing plant? 200. So this is 200. And this is 600. Now, there was a very technical issue on the additional information. He's saying that the fishing quota, the recoverable amount of fishing quota is 600. Do you see? From additional information. Note 1. This is fishing quota. So we have carrying amount and what? Recoverable amount. This is 600. What is carrying amount? 4. Now the question, is this impaired? No. So just like no impairment, therefore we are going to recover the whole amount of fishing quota. So no impairment, and thus we are going to recover the whole amount. You understand? That is a first point. Next, other information being given is what? This plant. A plant recover amount is 250. What's the carrying amount? 200. So not 2. A plant is not impaired. So we're going to recover the whole amount on a plant. So not 2. A plant. So we have carrying amount 200. Recover amount is 250. Therefore, no impairment. From these two, it is easy to pass the exam before attempting. So you move to a plant and a fishing quota for demarcation. In this ground, remember we are talking about impairment, isn't it? Want to talk some about impairment here? So this is the recoverable amount and this is the impairment. The total recoverable amount from the information he said it is 1.2 million. So it's easy to get the impairment for the whole business. So 1.2 million. Therefore the impairment. Sorry, yes. Because we're not, yes. So we should have to compute the total. So we have total here 2 million as we have computed, and this is 1.2. Therefore, what's impairment? 800. Now we had some information to resolve this discrepancy. That goodwill will be impaired in full. So nothing is going to be recovered from goodwill. 240. Again, the first boat sunk. Nothing is going to be recovered. Do you see these technical issues? Again, the fishing quota, where is it? We are going to recover it in full. Why? Because of a given information. The same to plant. We are going to cover them in full because of a given information. Now what remains is now you should see the sum of 240 and 500 to see the rest. Net asset will be recovered in full. Do you see? So it's very technical, this problem. If you're not aware, you can keep on hanging. So from there, net asset always. These are monetary issues. They never be impaired. Now, what rest? We have boat 2 and the equipment, isn't it? So we are going to allocate the rest on a pro rata basis. So we now go to pro rata basis. So we have boat 2 and what? Equipment. So in total, What is the carrying amount boat 2? 500. How about equipment? Yes? 100. What's the total? 6. Now you have to go to impairment. You go for allocation. You see. You go for allocation. So we have allocated the goodwill and the boat 1. You sum this one. How much you get? 740. What remained from 800? 60. So you put 60 here, isn't it? So in order to get allocation for boat 2, it is 500 divided by 600 times what? 60. That is boat 2. Then equipment, it is 100 divided by 60 times 60. How much is this? Yes. This is 50. About here? Please. What? It is 10. Yes. So the mission is over. So we have 50 vis-a-vis 10. This is 50. Isn't it? It is for boat 2 is 50. So from 50, this is 10. Therefore, impairment makes to be 90, and this is 450. This is now we have computed everything. So technically, you should use some of the cases. I'm sure as you grow, you will see more cases. So this is how it works. So to simplify the solution, I wanted you to understand when there is a CGU, what a particular issue to get. So don't get stuck somewhere. Try to go concept by concept. I'm sure you'll pass your exam. Now let's go to another question, which was also an exam problem with Ipsas 26. This one had technical issues. This question here. And most of the students can be aligned to have another perception while it's very simple. So this one is technical, and I will make sure you understand. It's also an examination problem from a diploma in Ipsas, even in other standards. So let's see. What he's saying, Tanzania Printing Unit, TPU, is a commercial public sector in Tanzania. It acquires a plant at a cost of 800 million as on 1st April 2016. Do you see how it works? So acquisition date is in this ground. The plant had estimated a residual value of how many? 50 million. And an estimated useful life of how many? 5 years. Neither of which has changed. Now, what does this mean? Actually, if you want to get started, you have to interpret this information step by step. So just draw a line indicating understandability on this. You draw a line, right? So what we're saying, year note is a date of acquisition of a plant. That was 1st April 2016. Am I clear? Now, we estimate the life of this plant to be how many? 5 years. So we have year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, and year what? Year 5. So the cost of the plant initially is deemed to be 800 million. But the residual value is how many? 50 million. Now, from public sector asset, remember, it said that a public sector which own cash generating asset have to estimate their residual value. But all public sector which own non-cash generating asset, the residual value is equal to 0. That is an accounting policy designed by Treasurer. So, in this ground, we can compute the annual depreciation. You get the point? We can compute the annual depreciation because the information provides evidence of this information. Now let's see what happened. TPU uses straight line depreciation. You pause. Right? Then he said, on 31st March up to 2018. When is that? So this is how many years after that? So this is, let us see. This is year 3. Grammatically, it is year 3. This is within a framework of year 3. So let us write something here. It is year 3. 31st March 2018. What happened? So you have to see where are you located. Now we are here, isn't it? So what happened? In this date, he said TPU was informed by a major customer who buy products produced by the plant that it would no longer be placing order with TPU. Number 1, even before this information was known, TPU had been having difficulties in finding work for this plant. What does this mean? Sophia, these are the information which provide evidence of existence of impairment. So what I'm saying here, in practice, I'm teaching you to have further information. So the plant is here. This is the plant so far. The plant is selling products and the customer are here. Again, the plant had its raw material inputs. Remember, impairment can arise because of shortage of raw material or shortage or decrease in demand. So what I'm saying, as only now to get a mark, isn't it? I want to make you so that you earn more mark. So you write here that as on the 1st March 2018, there is, number 1, decline in what? Demand. From where? Major customer. Number 2, decline in demand for other customer. In actual fact, this information affects even the going concern of this company. So you are saying in Ipsas 26, this is an indication. This is an indicator to what? Impairment. The management is now advised to do what? To estimate the recovery amount and then compute the carrying amount. So that is the notification itself. So, what he's saying again, it is now estimated that the net cash flow ending from this plant for the next 3 years meaning from the date of indicator next to further 3 years as follows. So 1990, 220 million. 2020, 180 million. 2021, 170 million. So what are these? These are from the date of impairment review. There is an estimation of cash flow. I'll explain this one. Somebody is thinking, working number 2. If we keep on using a plant, then there is value in use from the plant. What is estimated value in use? So you have to describe from the date of indicator going onward. Now, how to handle this? It's simple. As I told you, you must have a line of demarcation. Year 0, then year 1, then year 2, then year 3, isn't it? What was the revision? Was it 18? Because now we have 3 year. Wait. So this is year 4, and this is year 5. I want to see what was the date of indicator. Was it year 3 or year 4? Because we have 4 estimates there. This 18. When did this match? Let us put the numbers here. If this is April, then the first year will be on 31st March 2017. The first year, right? The second year will be 31st March 2017. So the impairment was noted 17 years. So it was noted a year, right? On the second year. So let us make it understandable here. So it was here, not year 3. That's why he estimated the rest of 3 years from there. So what we're now trying to make it here is a date of indicator is here. Therefore, what are we observing is that this is 31st March 2018. Now the future cash flows is from here. That this one here, it is 220. This is 1800. What this one? 17. Yes. So if we continue using that plant, the estimated future cash flow in year 3, year 4, and 5 are this one here. Now listen carefully. This is dangerous. This information, number 1, it tells us that this asset is a cash generating asset because it generates what? Cash flow, not a service oriented. Now let's go to the other description. Read here. He said that TPU has confirmed that there is no market in which to sell the plant as on March 2018. There is no what? There's no what? Market for plant. Meaning that if you want to compute the recoverable amount, it is the higher between the value in use and what? And the fair value less cost to sell. So he's saying that there is no fair value at a date when impairment arises. So, no fair value less cost to sell. Working number 3. There is no fair value less cost to sell as at the date of indicator. Therefore, in comparisons, we are now clean there. Now I'm adding other key issues so that we can get started. But, you see here, but, that it can still be sold for its original estimated realizable value on when? Meaning at the end. Do you see? Of its life. Meaning this is a disposal cost. So disposal cost will be 50 million. Am I clear? So you add information there that disposal cost, disposal value is ZS 50 million. And the BOT rate has been estimated as what? As 10%. Do you see? This is a BOT rate. So, from this information, he said, in line with Ipsas 26. Then he compute what? Impairment, if any. So at this point, we have to work on. What is the first working? Is to compute the carrying amount, isn't it? Compute the carrying amount. Compute the carrying. Compute the carrying amount at the date of what? Indicator to impair. Yes. So here, we just say, now, cost is ZS 800 million. Ratio is ZS 100 million. The depreciable amount is ZS 7500. Then useful life 5 years. Then annual is now ZS 7500 divided by 5. What is annual depreciation so far? It is very simple. It's what? You see, I was trying to see some people computing this problem. They get it all wrong. So what is annual depreciation there? 150. This way. 150 million. Good. So we have done. This is the annual depreciation. Therefore, you can compute the carrying amount after 2 years. So, carrying amount in year 2. It is 800 million minus 2 times 150. How much? So 300 million. So this is, there is a mark here. Number 2, compute value in use. That's where problem started. Compute value in use. First, there is a problem as to the contractual cash flow. I'll now tell you that we are now estimating the remaining value in use after impairment. And this is assessed since you have year 0, and then year 1, and then year 2. So in year 2, that's a point where there is impairment. Good. So year 3, year 4, and year 5. So the problem here was to analyze the contractual cash flow. We have been told that in year 3, it is 2. Wait first. It is 220. In year 4, it is 180, isn't it? And year 5, 170. But remember, in year 5, there is a disposal proceed of 50 million. So we have cash flow, call them cash flows, and then disposal proceed. In which year? This was 50 million. So most of the students forgotten this value, have net cash flow. So this is 22 million, 18 million. What this one here? 220, this way. Okay. So this is how it works. Now you have to establish the value in use when a discounting rate is 10. Now I want to show you how do we get the discounting rate so far. You should not worry. You can use your calculator. For example, discounting factor is equal to 1 over 1 plus R power what? Power n. That is a discounting factor. Now what is R? So discounting factor, R is 10. It's 1 over 1.1 power n. We need to establish discounting factor in year 0, and then year 1, year 2, and year 3. So I have to tell you how to get the calculator. So hold your calculator with your hand. So take 1, divide by 1, and then place equal sign. Follow me after me. So you take 1, divide by 1, then place equal sign. Again, divide by 1.1. Then place the first equal sign. How much you get? It is 0.9091, isn't it? Do you get this number? Then place a second equal sign. How much you get? 0.8 something, isn't it? Give me the numbers. You don't follow after me. You should not follow the table. These financial tables actually. Yes, how much you get? Yes. Again, this is 1.7513. This is 8264. How much you get? Because I'm just trying to remember from my memory. Yes, I'm waiting for your reply. Although the examiner has given you the table, the information itself here, that it is from the data here, you see, we've been given. But it may happen that no information has been provided. So use this, because you are now entering with the calculator, it's possible to compute. Okay. So, now having this information, it is possible now to do what? To compute present value. So you just in line with these numbers. So you put, we have year 1, year 2, and year 3. Cash flow is 200, 18, and 200. Discounting factor, we have 0.9, isn't it? Then 0.83, then 0.75, isn't it? He made an approximation. Still no problem. So multiply them so far, along with to get a solution. Give me the numbers. What is the first number? 200. This one here. Next. Next. $149.4. Next. Yes. 165. Now, sum these numbers to get the value in use. How much is this number? 200 point? 200. This one here. Okay. Now, find out the summation. $500.6. This is the value used, isn't it? So, remember, recoverable amount is the higher of number one, value in use, which is 0.6 million, and the fair value less cost, which is 0. So you select the higher to get the recovery amount, isn't it? What's the figure? So recovery amount is ZS 514.6 million. Now you compute impairment now. Impairment is a comparison between the carrying amount and what? Recoverable amount. So you go for impairment. Impairment review. So there is a carrying amount and there is recoverable amount. Recoverable amount is 514.6. The carrying amount is what? See, or can you put it this way? Is this asset impaired? So I'm saying since carrying amount is less than government, then no impairment. That was the end of this problem. So it was simple, isn't it? Let's miss the part B if it is within this framework. So this problem was a bit tricky because actually the way it appears on the last portion. Now, what is about Talula? Yes. He said, Talula, a public sector, adopted revaluation model for what? Subsequent measurement of its intangible asset in accordance with Ipsas 31 intangible asset. So Talula has adopted revaluation model. You know how the model works. Okay? The policy of Talula is to revalue its intangible asset at the end of the year. Good news? An intangible asset with estimated life of 9 years was acquired when? On the 1st January 2016. For how many? So this intangible asset has a cost of 450 million and it has a useful life of 9 years. Okay? And today is 1st January 2016. Do you get me? It was revalued to how many? 45 million on December 2016. And the valuation surplus was correctly recognized on that date. And on 1st December 2017, the asset was further revalued at what? 320 million. Discuss accounting treatment for intangible asset in financial statement for the endings 2016 and 2017. Actually, this is Ipsas what? Ipsas 17. Now, what he is testing here, you should be very much aware on these key issues. Am I clear? So, you move. This question has 20 marks. So you see he's trying to mix problem with two standards. What was a date of acquisition? Can you tell me? January 2016, isn't it? So I'll just make demarcation. This is part B. So you write here Tarula. So you start making a demarcation that at year note, that was initially, this is 1 January 2016. Right? Now, the final year is here. 30th June 16, isn't it? How many months lapse? Now, what was the revaluation? So this was the first revaluation so far. So first revaluation. Okay? Each year. Let's see the problem. I want to see what was the first evaluation, isn't it? First evaluation to December. It was December 26. So, reporting date has not been given. Okay, let me put this. Now, an intangible asset with estimated life of year. The policy is to revalue intangible asset at each end. Okay, so he's using a calendar year. So he's using a calendar year. So, no problem. Let's go to calendar year. Because he's using not a public sector as here in Tanzania, has gone into a calendar year. So let's see here. Although this question is not normal, using a calendar year. So December 12, 2016. Again, we have December 12, 2017. So the first evaluation is made here, and second evaluation here, right? Now, we should write something here, very interesting. The valuer report is saying what this one here? 544. How about here? 320. Isn't it? So that is evaluation report we need to ascertain. Now, what is the carrying amount? Acquisitions made here for an intangible asset which was 450. So 450 divided by 9. How much you get? So that you can compute depreciation here. The amortization itself is 50. So the carrying amount of this intangible asset at this date, number of years. Use the life of intangible asset. So you say 50 billion minus 50. It is 400. So there is a gain or loss. There is a gain on revaluation. Season. So How much is this? 144 million. From 9 years, we have left with 8 years. So you have to amortize this 1 year over 8 years. So you divide 544 divided by 8 years to have a depreciation between the period from this date to this date here. How much? 68 million. So 68, you knock from 544. You get the carrying amount here. How much you get? 476. So in this ground, we have loss in evaluation. You see. How much? The difference, isn't it? What is a loss in evaluation there? 156. This is a loss. So he's saying, produce the extract in the financial statements in year 2016 and also in year 2017. So we'll start with here financial statements as at 31st December 2016. The draft. So it sees that we have, that was a intangible asset, isn't it? Intangible asset having debit and credit. Again, you have accumulated amortization. You see. Again, since you have positive devaluation, then you open devaluation surplus account. Lastly, you have the statement of performance. This is very important. So you have to, what was opening balance for this intangible asset? It was 450. So balance 450 million. You see. So you have depreciation of how many? 50 million. No impairment, isn't it? This one, opening 0. So POL will go 450. So closing balance 450. This is how to handle this one here. This is depreciation. So, sorry, this one, sorry, surplus. Surplus, sorry. This is surplus. So that you say depreciation. Of course, this is amortization because it's an intangible asset. Amortization will come here. And also this is amortization. Yes. Amortization applied to intangible asset. By depreciation applies to the intangible asset. So there is a revaluation gain. Yeah. So we have gain in revaluation of how many? The first gain was what? 144. That was 144. So also 144. Then you can close your books here. Have the sum. What's the sum? Balancing here This is 5. It is? Yes, 594. 594. We have done. So never recognize the valuation surplus in the statement of performance. That is capital and capital maintenance special. So we have done. Never recognize this gain. So next step, financial statements as per. Exactly.
Never recognize the valuation gain?
Yes, in the statement of performance.
Why is it?
Because revaluation surplus is a component of net asset, not the performance. Yes. Never recognize any gain from revaluation in Ipsas 17 or Ipsas 31 in the statement of performance. Never. Never on earth. Okay? So, let's see. Financial statement extract as at 31st December 2017. From here, it's possible you open your account easily. So intangible asset will already be here. And the balance is 544. Depreciation, which is amortization, is 68. You get here? So you have to open also accumulated amortization. Opening, it is 50. About surplus, it will depend here. You said what? 68. So you can close and have the detail. So we open revaluation surplus. Open account, debit and credit. So opening is 50. You see. Now there is the loss. How many loss is that? Statement of performance. What was the loss from second revaluation? It was established here that it is 156. Now the problem is here, how do we get started there? So the 166 is the loss revaluation, and on a PPE it is here. Loss. Once you can you find the balance here? It is 320, and this is a 444, 444. So a problem was here. We have a loss of 156. Therefore, step number 1. Let me explain here. We have a loss of 156. Right? Step number 1. It will first write off this gain. By how many? 50. Next, the rest will be here. How much? The rest. 106. How to handle this one? So you debit. You debit. You debit. You debit the intangible asset. So you debit the revaluation surplus. Reversing. Again, debit the performance. And then you credit the intangible asset. So this is 156. Revaluation surplus, it is 50. The rest, 106, comes in here. We have done that problem. So the problem is over. The examiner was interested in this account, journal entry, because of the fact that in the second evaluation it happened to be loss. So I've done. Any question? Any question? Okay, now we can do this question and then see if we can depart. Okay. That is a question. What is saying? What is a non-cash generating asset as per Ipsas 21? This is the asset which does not produce cash flow. Its primary objective is to render services. You can provide an example of such asset, right? B, what's the difference between cash generating asset and the cash generating unit? You see it? Actually, a cash generating asset is the asset owned by public sector for the purpose of commercial return. That is a cash generating asset. But a cash generating unit is identifiable unit of asset. I repeat, is identifiable group of asset that generate cash flow altogether. That's all. Okay. Number C. On the 1st January 1999, Mtwara Town Council purchases a new machine framework computer. At what cost? 100 million. The city estimated that the useful life of the computer would be how many? 7 years. And that, on average, 8% of central processing units spew would be and that on average 8% of central processing unit spew capacity would be used to various departments, meaning 8% to various departments. The buffer of excess spew time of 20 was expected to be needed to accommodate scheduling job to the peak period deadline. Within a few months after acquisition, CPU usage rate reaches 80%, but declined to 20 in December 2003 because of many applications of department were converted into run on computer server. At that date, an amount of 2.5 million was required to restore the software from its original usage. A computer is available on the market at 50 million that can provide the remaining service potential of the mainframe computer using remaining application. The fair value less cost to sell of similar computer is how many? 20. Compute impairment. It is a bit a problem, isn't it? But it's very simple. This is also a typical exam problem. Let us solve it. Solution. Remember to draw the line. What was the date? It was the 1st January 1999, isn't it? When it was an indicator, few months later, few years later, actually it was on December 2003. That's where we have an indicator, December 2003. Now, how many years? So remember, from 1st January 1999. So on December, it's the first year. Again, 200, I will make something here. So, there is 1st December 199. Number year 1. 1st December 200. So 1 year. Again, 31st December 2001. 1 year, isn't it? You must be very much aware to get the number of year for depreciation purpose. Again, 31st December 2, 1 year. 7th December, a date of indicator. So how many years? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. So 5 years has gone. So in a depreciation, do we have a cost of asset? Yes. The cost was 100 million and the life was 7, isn't it? So can we compute depreciation? This is 100 minus 0 over 7. How much you get?
Yeah.
23 million. Good. So, what was a date of indicator? So, what you're saying here, depreciation. So, you have cost, CDS, 100 million. Accumulated depreciation. It is 100 million divided by 7 times what? 5. Give me the numbers here. What? 71.4. Now, carrying amount will be assessed to what? 20? 28.6. That is a first computation. Now, what he's saying here, as on that date, there was an indicator existing here. But after that, he used 2.5 million to restore it. You see? But similar computer can be obtained at 50 million on the market. So at this point, is this computer under Ipsas 21 or 26? It is 21, isn't it? So, working number 2. Value in use. So I'm saying this is a non-cash generating asset. This is a non-cash generating what? Assets. In Ipsas 21, isn't it? So you use the so-called depreciation replacement cost. So you estimate that the similar asset can exist for 5 years, but replacement cost is how many? 50 million. Am I clear? So annual depreciation of this new cost is 50 million minus 0 divided by 7. So you can compute depreciation replacement cost. So cost is 50. Again, accumulated depreciation. It is 50 over 7 times 5. How much you get? 35.7. to subtract to get this is depreciation. Replacement 2.3. 14.3. Now we have a technical jargon here. There is a technical jargon. This is very important. There is a restoration cost of how many? 5 point something, isn't it? But so far, what is the fair value less cost to sell? 20, isn't it? So from there, you can assess for recoverable amount. So, recoverable amount is the higher. So, the higher. So, fair value 20 million. Value in use. How much? Is it clear? So in this ground, you have the cover amount of how many? 20. Because it's higher, isn't it? Now, since there is restoration, remember, he said there is a restoration amounting what? 2.5 million, isn't it? So during impairment, we are going to compare between, so assessment of impairment. Impairment review. We have carrying amount. How much was that? Carrying amount of asset, the first working. 28.6. Isn't it? Now, technical issues are here. Carrying amount is 28.6. Now, recoverable amount here, it is 20. You see, but this 20, which has been computed here, you must subtract the restoration cost. Am I clear? If there is a restoration cost during impairment, you must subtract the restoration cost from recoverable amount so that you have net recoverable amount. Okay? So deduct what? So net of restoration 2.5, isn't it? Therefore, what is impairment? So impairment is equal to 28.6 minus. So 20 minus 2.4. 17.4. What is impairment? You see? Is it clear? My friend, there.
Yes.
You understand for me?
Yeah.
What's the figure? $100. That is an impairment. So do you see, when there is a restoration, we must deduct a figure for restoration from where? The recovery amount. So that you now compare between the two. So it is simple. How about here? That was an exam problem also. Here. So you can call it's very simple. So he's saying on the 1st January 1983, the Morogoro district constructed a school at a cost of 20.445 billion. The entity estimated the school would be used for how many? 40 years. So he described in the 31st December 23, the enrollment declined from how many? 1,000 students to how many? That is an indicator to impairment. As the results of population shift caused by the bankruptcy of major employer in the area. The management decided to close the top floor of the 3-story of the school building. Ikaamua kufunga baadhi ya majengo ya juu. You see, Morogoro School District has no expectation that the enrollment will increase in the future, so such as the upper stories would be reopened. The current replacement cost is how many? This one. And the fair value less to sell near. So you can compute impairment, isn't it? Is it a problem here? So remember, the cost is 20.5 billion. Let me put something there. What's the problem here is you to dictate the problem. So we have year note. In year note is 1st January 1983. You see, a date of indicator is December. Do you see the two? That is where indicator arises. Now, how many years here? That's a problem. From 83 to December 2003. 20 years. Using 5 was 40. So it's probable that you can compute carrying amount here. Accordingly, use depreciation replacement cost of this amount. You see? So, carrying amount is equal to cost. So, cost 20.5. Applied depreciation, it is how much? 20.5 over 40 times 20. How much is that? Yes. Accumulated depreciation is 20.5 minus 0 over 40, isn't it? That is depreciation, annual depreciation. Now, depreciation for 20 years, you multiply this depreciation by 20. We're getting this number here. Almost a half, isn't it? Do you get me? Miaka. Ngoja. Fact yake. Anasema miaka haiko 20, si ndio? Iko 21. Ngoja. Hizo ni hesabu za kwenu hapa. Kwa 21. Itakuwa mwaka mmoja unaongezeka kwa sababu ukichukua 2003, yes, itakuwa 21. Itakuwa 21. Kwa hiyo tutasema cost 20.5. Kwa accumulated itakuwa ni 20.5 divided by 40 times 21. Yes. Unapata ngapi? Ukitoa unapata carrying amount 0.74. That's the carrying amount. So you compute depreciation replacement cost ya ile nyingine. Replacement ina 10.3. Kwa hiyo imeanza na imetumika 21 years. Utasema cost ni 10.3. 10.3. Sasa accumulated 10.3 gawanya 40 times ngapi? 21. Unapata ngapi? 4.41. Kitoa unapata depreciation 4.89. Hiyo ndio nini? Replacement cost. Kwa hiyo kulikuwa na mauzo 9 point something, ndio kuna compare to have the value used. Yeah. Kwa hiyo that one here unasema recoverable amount is the higher of value in use 4.8 na fair 9.9. Zote hizi billions, ndio. So utapata recoverable ni ngapi? Yes. So is this impaired? Utacompare na carrying amount uliyopata pale juu. Carrying amount tupata ngapi? 9. Na hapa kwa imekuwa impaired, si ndio? Carrying amount 9.7. Cover amount 9.5. So there is the difference is impairment. 0.2B. That is impairment. So that's how we can compute this kind of problems. So let us stop here so that we have a time to digest and solve other problems the case may be. God bless you.